Okay. That's all our news comes out of Minnesota.
It sure does, doesn't
Say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and agenda.
I'll second.
Motion Derby and second Smith to approve the minutes and agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
9 a.m. public hearing for budget amendment.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second.
Motion Derby and a second Smith to open the public hearing for budget amendment. All in favor, do we need a roll call for that?
No.
All in favor say aye.
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 So what do we have on the amendment list?
It is not in here. Hold on just a second. It must be
Well, I guess we'll get approved then.
So was Wing Ding this weekend out here?
Yeah,
Okay. Turnout?
I don't know, I wasn't there. Well, I wasn't there.
We'll see, it was a growing year.
A growing year. It's the
I
first
think
year
it
they
was-
called it Dedham Fest, is it?
Yeah. I think as the weekend went, they probably had more and more people through the weekend, but
Weather was really good. There's been times when the weather's not been so good.
Oh, yeah, the last time I was there, it was soup on the ground. It was so wet. We were walking around in our muck boots.
My wife was too.
I can't get it apart, can I?
there,
There you
finally,
go.
okay. Well, in the areas. So the 56,000 on the courthouse project, what was it? When was that? Was that upstairs?
Remember, see it. Yeah, we're, so that, the money was already in there. We were just making it so we could budget it to use it. Any other questions?
I'm trying to understand this. We show. That line just confuses me.
Yeah.
So in the excess of revenues and other sources over expenditures and other uses, it's shown in negatives. Can you explain that negative part of it then?
Morning.
Sheriff's is. Sheriff's.
It's just because, so these,
That's all the revenues, that's all the expenditures.
yeah, so these are the revenues.
How are you?
Upside down.
So the revenues are less than anticipated.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah. So this is the revenues and that's expenditures, so that's the difference.
And that's estimated, or that's what it actually is right now?
That's estimated.
Have we had any comment from the public?
Nope.
So the sheriff's one is the additional cost for what? Jail? What is that?
I don't have that paperwork with me, but it's a lot of overtime from sitting on prisoners that are in the hospital.
Okay, like to the tune
At
of
least one,
$80,000? Is that what it was?
97.
$97,000?
I don't know if
Now,
it's
there's all kinds
that,
of different
but
accounts.
Sure, I just have. Okay. I mean, they were all obviously legitimate.
if you can tell me the numbers, I can probably tell you at least closely.
Well, individually, there was like 16,000 in one, 12,000 over in another, 13 over in another, 12 in another, 11 in another, 8 in another. It's like all kinds of different accounts.
So 12,000 is salaries, 9,000 is salaries, 4,000 is salaries. 35 is a new car. Or 40,000 is a new car in line item 35, that's their jail fund. So they're budgeting 40,000 for a new car in that fund, which is no taxpayer dollars, that's the, basically it's their, what is it,
Yeah,
Where they
I know what you're talking about. I
take
just can't say it.
the jail
Transfer.
money.
The jail, yeah.
Yep.
So that,
Um,
so all those salaries are overtime though.
mhm. Yeah. Oh, it's actually 16, 12, 7, and 3,000. So. And then. Yeah, 6,000 is for the new vehicle, so I don't know what. 6,460 So they must just be short for their vehicle.
So when you got overtime carried per prisoner,
Mm-hmm.
can that be pulled out of the prisoner fund?
I don't think
It's a
so.
direct reflection.
The only thing that can be pulled out of the prisoner fund is courtroom security. That's the only salary that can be taken out of there. The rest of the numbers I don't really know off the top of my head.
Juvenile placement, that's Eldora, is it?
Not Eldora, it's Central,
Oh, Central Iowa Juvenile.
is that,
Detention,
is
that's
that
Eldora,
Eldora?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we've got a couple of expensive individuals down there. One really expensive one. Then this miscellaneous one is, 168,000, it's changing 443,000 for a total of 611,500. What is that encompass?
What's the number?
611,500.
No, but the count number,
Oh,
the
the
big
account
one is that the 61,000? It's the, is that the conservation one we took out of ARPA?
What's the first, or the,
0064.
yeah, that's ARPA.
All right, that must be that.
Just looked like a familiar number, that 355.
Well, my assumption was that it was probably something to do with that, but miscellaneous always gets you. When miscellaneous is bigger than everything else, it always
Just
gets
the second page of that one.
seems like many things go down.
Call for anybody comments.
Is there anybody in the public on the phone that would like to comment on the public hearing for the budget amendment? Since we've had no concerns brought up to us, we'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
on
Could I comment on mine
all right,
really quickly? I just wanted to mention that, you know, we had fuel go way up after our budget was approved, so we had to add 190,000 of diesel fuel to our budget, and we're able to find other places in the budget for savings to have a net zero difference in our budget this year, so I think that's a good thing to point out, that the net result of our budget amendment is zero from our department.
yours had areas that dropped and areas that went up to
Yeah,
get
one
covered for it. Yeah, I can
One of
see
the
that.
biggest ones is we didn't have to buy any salt last year. That's just such a big
Yeah.
deal.
Well, you have to next year.
Maybe a little bit. We're sitting pretty good in Forsyth, like Mills and Buffalo, really. I'd like to get that diminished down so we don't have old stuff hardening up in the bag before you get new stuff that doesn't seem to work.
All right. We had a motion and a second, right?
Right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Consider for approval resolution for budget amendment.
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution for the budget amendment.
I'll second it.
Motion Smith, second for Derby to approve the resolution for the budget amendment. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, 9:15 a.m.
Scott gets the gold star
Oh, yeah.
It's shuffling.
for
Yeah.
shuffling of funds.
I did notice that, so it hadn't gone unnoticed.
When you don't get a question about it, you know you do.
Yeah, that's good.
It's fine to point it out. That's good.
Okay, 9:15 a.m., public hearing for anhydrous ammonia storage and pumping facility. I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for anhydrous ammonia storage and pumping facility.
I'll second it.
Motion from Jensvold, second from Derby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Has anybody had any comment from the public? I kinda have. The state line guys have been bribing me.
Is that right?
When you admit it on camera.
Yeah.
Has there been anybody on the, online, on the phone that has any comment on this? Well, if not, I'll entertain a motion, or I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the anhydrous ammonia storage and pumping facility.
A second.
A motion from Jesville, and a second from Smith, to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Consider for approval resolution for anhydrous ammonia storage and pumping facility. I suppose this wouldn't be the appropriate time to entertain bribes, but
Well, let me see.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution for anhydrous ammonia storage and pumping facility.
I'll second it.
Motion from Johnsville, and a second from Derby, to approve the resolution for anhydrous ammonia storage and pumping facility. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay,
All right,
it was as simple as that for you.
that went better than expected.
Yeah, well,
Well, I wasn't expecting much of a
yeah,
problem.
yeah, well, I haven't signed it yet, so,
Signature.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do I need to stay for that?
Yeah.
And then you're calling, right?
Yes,
I'll contact you about some of the stuff I need
okay,
by email later, so.
sounds good.
All right, thank you all.
All right, yeah, have a good day.
Take care.
Got a new fashion statement there.
Big pain,
Yeah,
Did you-
happens time to time.
Maybe your daughter was like helping you.
Yeah. I always started that project on R50, so I was painting lines this morning on the pavement.
I saw that. I already had a couple phone calls about it. What's going on? Why are they?
I know.
Doesn't take long and people are like, what's happening?
I don't know. You throw off their routine in the morning,
Have them start talking.
changes a lot of stuff up.
okay, we'll skip to number 8. Scott Minders, engineer, will discuss secondary road matters.
Sure, for gravel, they got done crushing last week and, got like 60,000 ton in the pile, so we're trying to get organized to start hauling gravel out of there this week. And the guys got started on R50 on the culvert replacement south of NG this morning, and we'll have that closed 2 to 3 weeks. That's a culvert now, will be replaced with a culvert, so it should be pretty straightforward. And then they're, working on hauling some rock and touching up where the dust control is going down for in front of people's residences this morning. So we have that tentatively scheduled for tomorrow for Dino's, if it's not raining. If it is raining, it'll most likely be next week. Apparently, Cerro Gordo County opens June 1st and they get priority.
Sounds like the rains are like after 4 every day or something.
Yeah, the amounts seem to be
10.
creeping up, but not much still, so we'll just have to see. If it's raining, then it takes care of the dust too, but not for long.
Usually not a week.
No. So, we'll do what we can to get it done. I suppose we owe a call to Freeborn to see when they'll be here as well.
Did you ever think any more on dust control going out to Rice Lake, north side?
I think it would be a nice thing for the residents to do for themselves. I guess.
What was the cost on it?
Something I have like,
40 or
yeah, I think I'd throw on like 5,000, but I don't know what they charge the private residences compared to the county, so.
Most of the traffic on that road, is it all residents, or is there a lot of extracurricular traffic?
Well, there's a lot of extracurricular out there.
You would assume that
It'd be interesting to put a counter on a road.
On a video camera that checks license plates.
could check to see if there has been a counter on that road. And it's this here.
If I remember right, that's the one they wanna pave, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the most used access to Rice Lake.
And
Definitely.
if I remember right, he was saying it was a lot of traffic from other areas than the people living.
Actual one,
Oh, for sure.
number that are
But
counted,
that's
they're on
just
their
his
box,
opinion, it's
the
not
rest of
necessarily a scientific study.
Yeah.
use the algorithm or
I
something.
mean, they don't care once it gets past Foster Hartman. You know, doesn't have to be all the way out there for them. I've had calls about it. Did you get some calls? Or you talked to somebody?
I've talked to people about it, but I don't make promises.
Other than a chicken in every pot.
Could
Find
you,
one?
could you check for us and see what it would cost to oil it from, you know, where the blacktop, where Donnie Helgeson is, to Foster and Levon's,
Yeah,
and just see what it would cost?
But if we oil one, we're setting a precedence, maybe to oil all of them.
It'd be interesting.
And the pavement,
to the pavement, to the pavement.
to the park entrance. I'm sure we can estimate based on last year's bill, whatever the bill is.
Not all the way out to the
Oh,
access, just to like where Foster and Levon are at.
oh, I just said to you.
To the, almost
To the
airport.
residential, yeah, to the airport. Ish. Because otherwise, there's nobody that lives the whole rest of the way.
There's people that access out there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's cornfields, they're not being disrupted by the amount of dust that's being generated.
Mhm. Can figure out what that would cost.
Be good to know. Yeah. Not a farm to market or anything, but it's definitely our only lake.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Regarding the truck you were talking about last week, the semi,
Yeah, you can,
Yeah, I talked to him this morning again, and they're gonna work on Daimler and getting the percentage off, make Daimler take a cut on it.
for a replacement truck.
Yeah. But we had to put a spec build in to get that, and we're at the point right now where we're trying to put the spec in to see. And then,
So basically, it would eliminate the upcharge for,
not fully, because they still want, pay a portion of the upcharge because you're moving up in the truck. It's not like you're getting an apples to apples truck, you're going for the 4700 series, 47X series.
one question I would have for them is would they allow you to use your current truck until the new one is available?
They will, but they will not give us how much they'll give us for that truck, just because the truck market right now is
Where
a roller
depreciation
coaster. He said it could be anywhere they give us $80,000, or it could be the same as what we paid for it, but don't know what it's gonna be worth in the fall. So the truck market the last 12 months has been crazy, so they don't feel comfortable. So I just feel like right now we're at the point where they'll give us every penny back from what we paid into it, so we just know that we're not.
Is this the only truck company you wanna deal with then, or?
Truck centers, we basically kind of dealt with truck centers most of the time in a roundabout way. We used to go through Don's down by Waterloo, but the truck came from truck centers. It's like a sister company. So,
They're in Clear Lake, right, truck centers,
yeah, right out to Interstate.
that'd be the closest one.
Right.
I guess they got a Peterbilt there now, but that's not sales, so is it, they just service and parts?
I'm not 100% sure if they are a truck. We had a guy from Peterbilt come in, and he was from Des Moines, so I don't think it's.
I don't think it is. Okay, I don't have anything else for secondary roads, I guess.
Hopefully next Tuesday we'll have something more on that truck. They're supposed to be getting pricing and stuff like that to us by Friday, so.
We'll move to number 9, consider for approval fiscal year 23 secondary road budget amendment number 1.
Same numbers, different organization as the countywide budget amendment. They're only interested in kind of totals of categories, so you don't really see it the same way on that one. Summary is 190 additional to diesel. We did take 100,000 out of our rock budget because we had some in stockpiles. So that's not something I wanted to do, but one of the only places we had some extra money. We had added 55,000 to box culverts because we moved up the box culvert bridge replacement by Osmus Farm Supply. And then we reduced pipe culverts by 85,000 because we moved on our 50, that project was planned to be a box and now is a pipe. We saved 60,000 by not buying any salt. And that is all the changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2023 secondary road budget amendment number 1.
One second.
A motion from Derby and a second from Smith to approve the fiscal year 2023 secondary road budget amendment number 1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Well, I was gonna say, postpone to 9:30 until Kelsey gets here. Are we supposed to call her? Usually she's down here, so.
I'm trying to text her.
Oh, so now you don't feel the
Then
other
I
part?
didn't, then I did okay. Now this one, now it's.
Kind of a chiropractic adjustment.
Thanks.
Yeah, have a good day, guys. Well, we can,
Put that on the agenda, or she put that on, or who did?
She must have. No, nothing.
I did.
You did?
Well, I guess we could go to it so we can discuss it. 9:30 a.m., Kelsey Benkin, attorney, to discuss 28E with Forest City for paramedic services. There she is.
Sorry, I was on the phone.
It's all right, I will patiently wait.
Thank you. Well, Carla asked me to draft a document and nobody told me any terms about it. So I just need to know what the terms are for the 2080 with Forest City ambulance. Or with Forest City, I think we probably need to add the ambulance service, because we can't bind them for services without them in the agreement. So the original agreement, I just did a very rough draft when Carla called me that day. So it needs changes, but, originally when we first started talking about this a while back before any of the EMS stuff, we were talking about just doing it between us and Forest City, just for the money that we give them every year. I think it was like 75,000 or something at that time. But I think the more I think about it, I think we need to add the ambulance service in if we're providing that money in exchange for services from the ambulance service. Well, we can't bind the ambulance service unless they're a party to the agreement. So,
So this would be a three-party agreement then?
yeah. Otherwise, I mean, we can have a contract with the city to give them money, and then the ambulance service can say, well, we're not going, and not that I think they'll do that, but they can say, well, we're not gonna provide the service to you. So unless it's in their contract between the ambulance and Forest City, I don't know, and I think Becky sent me that a long time ago. I don't know if they've updated that at all. I'll look back through whatever agreement I have. I know it was a few years old at least, but
I think they're working on upgrading.
They are.
Theirs right now too.
okay. With Forest City Ambulance Service,
The city and, yeah.
yeah. So, Carla, I think you had told me 200,000. Is that right?
Well, I don't think we've 100% decided that.
Oh, okay.
There's
So-
a lot of variables yet,
Okay.
a lot of variables, because it could be some of that other money might end up
Yeah,
funneled to there. We don't know yet.
So is this money coming from the fund? Okay, gotcha.
The money that we're discussing is the fund.
Okay.
One of the funds.
And so we will just give that sum of money to Forest City and they are to oversee how it's used with the ambulance service, or how is that working?
Still to be determined.
well, so what I've gotten from our auditor at this point is that we can give them money as long as we have proper documentation that it's being used for something like salaries at this point.
When you say
them, yeah, do you mean Forest City or the ambulance?
Forest City.
Okay.
So we will still need documentation from Forest City, because I want to put that in here then.
Yep.
That we need certain,
Yep.
okay. So is the 200,000 primarily to cover salary, or is there other stuff that's gonna include, just salary? Okay,
In our meetings, all we've talked about is salaries,
Mhm.
whether it be paramedics, EMTs, or whatever.
okay,
Keeps it a lot cleaner that way.
Yeah.
sure,
That's what Elizabeth has kind of narrowed our field that we can pay
Okay.
down to.
In the future, though, there may be, when we get our surtax monies in, we possibly might be, allowing grants for equipment,
okay.
but we won't know that
But
till
we
next
won't know
year.
that, so, okay,
We might roll that into next year's budget and address it then.
sure.
We
And
don't know
when's
what we're
this,
gonna get.
when do we want this to start? This, like, fiscal year, July 1?
First.
Okay. And I have it drafted as like it's a year-long agreement, but then it automatically renews if nobody terminates within so many days before. Is that okay? That way we don't have to come back and do a new contract every year. We can also amend it, obviously, if you change the number. But,
That's the way a lot of our other agreements read.
well, it's just, cleaner, so we don't have to make a new contract every year, because we gotta file it with the Secretary of State and everything for it to become effective. So that's, I think that would be
We may
fine.
end up adjusting in another year anyway.
Say that again.
May adjust something in another year after we've
Sure.
done it for a year, you know.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll make sure there's language about amending. What was the other question I think then I probably just need to know what the figure is. And what I will do is, I think I will add Forest City Ambulance Service to this for the purpose of them providing us service in exchange for the money we're giving to the Forest City to pay their salaries. And then I'll add the language about that we need documentation. Do you care how often or what's?
On the pay, when you pay, right? Like our regular.
So like every payroll, is that how you want it or how do you want it?
I don't even care, well, like with Hancock County, we do quarterly.
That's what I wondered.
So, that's fine. too.
That way you're not getting something every other week or how, I don't know how often you
Yeah.
pay it. Okay.
Just so we have that documentation when we get audited.
Yeah, right. So is the 200,000 just a total guess or is that like ballpark of what you guys are thinking
We'll
or?
know more after tomorrow night.
Okay, okay,
That would be a starting point, then that's the tech committee, then it has to go to the advisory council.
Right. okay,
So it's kind of up in the air.
okay. Any other questions for me on this as to how something would work?
I don't know.
So I'll have like a period of time that we can amend it every year, basically. And then, of course, we can amend it by agreement of the parties anytime, but like if you guys wanna reevaluate the money, the funds every year, I assume, to see what,
And you'll put that in the language of that?
Yeah.
Then?
yep. Yeah, I'll figure out some wording for that. Otherwise, I just used my standard 2080, like all the other terms are gonna be basic. There are obviously certain terms that are required to be in a 2080, so. And then we do have to have an administrator of the agreement. Who would you like that to be? So basically the point person, I guess would be the easier way to say that.
So would it be Bill because he's the advisory council?
That's up to you guys, it doesn't matter.
So point person as far as day-to-day type things or just the signator?
Day-to-day type things, so somebody that can answer questions or facilitate if there's issues. Obviously, to make an actual decision, you guys will still have to put it on the agenda and make a decision if you're trying to change something. So you're just required to have an administrator of the agreement when there's a 2080. So sometimes we do, like, so the one I had mirrored this off of was the law enforcement 2080s that we do with the towns. Obviously, the sheriff is the administrator of that one, for example. So it doesn't even have to be
It doesn't have
a
to be one of
supervisor,
us.
no.
What do we want? Jason to do that?
Yeah, I was thinking Carla. She's dealing with the budget part of it and
There really shouldn't be much to it, I don't think. I mean,
she has her job to oversee, what's going out and just,
Yeah, the
justifying the
expenditures.
expenses, but
yeah.
See,
anyway, so.
the day-to-day stuff,
I think that
we're not
makes
here
sense.
day-to-day.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, there shouldn't be much, but somebody make sure we're getting the quarterly reports and that if we're getting the service that we're supposed to be getting and whatnot, so if there are
I just
issues
feel
with
like
that.
it'd be easier for her when it has to come to us for something, then she just puts it on the
Yeah,
agenda.
automatically puts it on the agenda.
Are you okay with that?
Sorry, Carl.
whittling down that stipend. Come to the left,
Can someone send me who's like the main people with the Forest City Ambulance Service? Who would be their signatory?
Thomas is the
Thomas
president.
Gaither.
And it's Forest City Ambulance Services, they're mainly. Okay.
Joe Klubo, and Deanne Hanna. That would be my guess of who they would want.
So not Gaither?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
sorry, okay,
But Thomas is the president.
okay. Who was the other, Joe Kuko, and who would you say?
Deanne Hanna.
Okay. I mean, I'll look at the contract that I currently have between Forest City and the ambulance service, but I just hate to do a contract with Forest City saying we'll give money for the ambulance service and then not have the ambulance service included in it, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Any other questions or anything else you think needs to be included that I wouldn't know about?
So the previous ones, when we were giving 75,000, that was only with the
City.
city?
We never had an agreement.
No agreement at all?
There's never, not a written contract.
Okay.
They're a city entity, so
Yeah, and it's not a big deal to add Forest City Ambulance Service as long as they're willing, but if they're willing to provide the service, I don't know why they wouldn't be willing to sign the agreement, so. And if they aren't, then that would be a red flag to not enter into this agreement, so.
yeah, there's some things in there that may change after negotiations. at the
Sure.
Tech committee and advisory council.
Okay,
But then it
Well, I
will
can
go
get
past
this-
you again,
yeah,
you know.
I can work on this, when's the next meeting?
Well, tech committee's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, okay. I can get you guys a rough draft today or tomorrow, then, so that you have something to talk about. I assume, well, Forest City's attorney is still Becky, right?
Mhm.
And who's the ambulance? Or maybe they don't have
Well, for the agreement, they've been using Tyler's.
in Cooney.
They've been
Okay.
using
Aaron from,
Mhm.
okay.
But now that we're not doing that original 28E, I don't know if
They're involved.
that will,
Well, maybe we need to find that out tomorrow night if somebody can find out who, just so I can send it on to their people too. So I'll start with that 200,000 figure and just add those other terms, and then if there are any changes, it should be quick and easy after tomorrow night or whenever, so that shouldn't be a problem, but, okay. That answers my questions. Is there anything else you need me to stick around for?
yeah, the next one.
Okay.
He's here, he's out in the hall.
What is the next one?
That Gary Anderson.
Can't you
Oh,
read
yeah.
that from here?
Well, it's not on there.
She switched sides, so she doesn't always know what's on the wall.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Okay, we just got
Oh,
here.
no, we're holding you up, we're almost 7 minutes late.
That's my fault.
That's okay.
Okay, 9:40 a.m., Kelsey Bacon, excuse me. Gary Anderson, SA Architects, to discuss a possible action, change of owner agreement to, how do you say that?
Cover.
Just Cover like it sounds, I was hoping it was
Yep, yeah, back here.
Group PLLC.
Yep, morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for
Gary.
having me back today. We put together, it's called an assignment and assumption of contract. That's the legal term for it. Put that together, Coru's group out of Naperville, Illinois, their attorney looked at it, Kelsey looked at it. I brought 3 copies for you today. So just kind of as a brief summary, the plan was to move my contract to Coru Group because they're going to be buying me out next year. And this way you'll have just a continuous of services with Coru Group. but nothing's changing at all. Tom and I will still be working with the project, still be involved out of Mason City office. It's just a matter of all of the responsibilities on the back end, so to speak, will be through Koru Group. And they will be actually the architect of record for the project. I do have Eric Carlson on the phone with me today. I thought it'd be kind of good since this is a leap of faith for you guys, too, to change this. And so Eric was the friend that I was telling you about from architecture school at Iowa State. He's on the phone, so happy to, if you have any questions or want to chat with him about anything. Here, Eric, I'll get you closer there.
Good morning.
Hello, everybody. I just want to assure you that, Gary, obviously I've known Gary for a long time, have a lot of faith in him as well as you guys, which is why we decided to partner up with Gary, his company, and acquire them. So, we've got an office in Chicago to really primarily be a support for Gary as he continues to work just as he has in the past, for the past several years, with just some back-end support that we have out in Chicago area, and look forward to working with the network of people that Gary has been associated with for many years.
I think the only thing that I was concerned about, and you can fill me in because I don't know what type of insurances you have to have, liabilities, on the work that you do.
Yeah, so we, both myself and Koru Group has professional liability insurance. That's standard throughout the industry. As my company winds down, at the end of the sale of the company, I will get what's called tail insurance. And that's just a special policy for the projects that I've had in the past. Koru Group, though, would then take on the responsibility, their liability from today forward of the project. In essence, we've had design components, but they're taking the project going forward. But yet, if there's anything in the past that was done, it would be under myself. Which, in essence, we've just had meetings and preliminary design, so to speak.
And I did read that contract that he's referring to, or the assignment, and so Koru Group's gonna take on all his obligations. So the assignment itself is fine, it's just whether you guys are wanting to assign it, obviously, or agree to assign it, but the document is fine to sign if that's what you guys wanna do.
And I can get you their professional liability insurance document. It's a certificate of insurance, it's called. And I can get you that. It's kind of standard for me to present that anyhow.
That was really the only question I thought of, was just to make sure that we were fully covered.
Yeah, oh, exactly. No, that's a good point.
You guys are required to have that anyway.
Yeah, we are.
So,
Yeah. Yeah,
I think the document would be nice to have on hand.
sure thing. I give them mine, because I've done work for them in the past, and so, yeah, I've got it. So I'd be happy to. My plan was to, after, if you guys approve this, sign it, I was going to send the 3 copies to Illinois, and then they were going to send back the 2 signed, and then I'll bring the insurance document back to you then.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's special limits that are needed, I'm sure we have them or can get them. So we just wanted to, we'll just need to know what those limits would be.
Would we have that, Carlin, required?
I'm sure we do, but I'm not sure what they are off the top of my head.
Just depend on the various contracts, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
My standard is $1 million of coverage. And I think, Eric, is that what you have, $1 million or 2?
Yeah, I believe we have 2.
$2 million, okay.
I know all of ours went up to 2. It always was $1 million before, and now it is 2. So.
$1 million doesn't get you much anymore, it seems
Nope,
like.
it doesn't.
Sad to say.
And with these 117-year-old buildings collapsing these days, kind of makes things come to the top of the conversation.
It is, off topic, is the bowling alley still working?
Yeah.
So, and you heard about
Yeah.
the bowling alley Mason's burning down,
The
so
second one.
we got nothing now.
Yeah, between Northwood and Forest City, it's kind of narrowing down.
It is, yeah.
Buffalo Center's got one.
That's right.
Yeah, oh yeah, Metropolis.
So as
Sorry.
long as we have that covered, I'm fine with the agreement.
Where was that building that fell down?
Davenport,
Devon.
6 stories, 1906.
It was an apartment building, wasn't it?
The first thing I thought about with that building was the construction of our building next door with the clay block and covered by brick and just don't jackhammer.
Yeah, vibrated loose.
Yeah. So, well, considering all that, I would make a motion to change the owner agreement from SA Architects to Koru Group PLLC.
I'll second that.
Derby and a second from Smith to approve the agreement as stated. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. So does this mean going forward, if this group you're involved with ever designs a new Supreme Court building, then we'll be on the history part of, infancy? There's that Township Hall up in White Bear that was designed by the same person that did the Woolworth building and did the Supreme Court building.
Oh, wow.
And he was a starving architect up in the cities at the time. He designed this small, simple, square township building.
Interesting.
It was an article on TV today, and they were gonna destroy it in 2011, I think, and they actually ended up moving it and saving it.
Oh, wow.
Because it is
When
historical.
it had been covered up, through the years to protect it,
Oh,
and then when they started digging into it, there was all these architectural details that were not showing. So it's kind of a neat
What
story.
city was that?
White Bear Township Hall or whatever. It was on Channel 6. It came out of the cities. But fun to listen to those architecture. I always follow the ones from Mason City and what's his name? Has all the famous, the Stockman House.
Oh, Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those architectures.
Okay.
All right. I'll let Eric go. He's driving, so I don't know. Thanks, Eric.
All right,
Eric?
yeah, thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I assume I must have to sign a few, do I?
Okay, you have a formal meeting. Still, just had a question. The parking lot for the public health on the north side. I met with V&K on Friday. We're gonna get a couple more on the south side. On the north side, that sidewalk really isn't ADA compliant as it is. Adding 4 stalls there, when it gets closer to the WCTA, it really starts to slope more so that it's not ADA. The only way they can fix it is to get rid of a parking spot to smooth that out.
So, does it need to be ADA if we have another ADA entrance?
Well, from the building down the ramp to the sidewalk going east, it's ADA compliant. It's just from WCTA's,
Oh, the sidewalk.
from the sidewalk
Sidewalk,
itself.
sidewalk, not the
yeah.
ramp.
Yeah. I just wanted to just let you know we're looking at that. I'm torn because I don't want to lose a spot. And I don't know, you look at town, how many sidewalks are really in compliant.
That's grandfather.
Yeah, so you're changing the conditions.
Yeah.
So it's just something we'll need to talk about in the near future.
Okay.
This is a little buffer of something. All right.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks for looking
Yeah,
this over.
no problem.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
When I get more in the site, I'll let you know. We'll send it out for something. Because I told them about adding that or the diagonal parking on the south side of the building too, with signs. So they're gonna.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, have a good
See
day.
ya.
Have a good day.
Kelsey, you're not gonna stay for drainage?
Oh, man, it's a tough call, but I think
Oh,
I'll
all right, yeah,
pass.
when duty calls. All right.
I'll go work on your contract. How's that sound?
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day. Okay, auditor's office will discuss drainage matters. We're ready for you. Morning.
Good morning. I don't have anything other than what's on number 11.
Okay, anybody else got anything? Terry's thinking about it.
No, I don't
Nope.
think so.
I do not.
Okay, we'll move on to number 11 then.
I had that Terry was gonna check with the NRCS to see if Fix needs to do the trees or what there's happening.
Right. So according to NRCS, he had called in there to see if it was okay to remove trees because of nesting and whatever else. And they told me it was okay to remove them. His plans were to do it sometime this summer.
Is this Mr. Fick?
Yeah.
Okay,
But, you know, I think both parties were concerned, them and us, that it needs to get done.
okay,
And we thought if we sent him a letter reminding him that he's got a problem that's causing damage to the tile, then maybe he would have more urgency in the matter and actually take care of it.
okay,
So if we could possibly send that letter to him,
okay.
with the
Do
requirements.
you want me to come up with the letter then and I'll
Yeah.
forward it to you guys for review?
Yeah,
Okay,
are you okay with that? So he was aware of it, but want to make sure he keeps moving on it.
Okay.
Whether he's doing it himself or hiring somebody, it's a mess out there.
is it? Okay,
Where's this at?
Did you take any pictures?
That's out north of Pilot Knob. Remember the really steep ones that come down
Oh,
and they go off that way? Well, it's farther north where before it gets to the ditch, and his land is a mess. And it's hard to see from the road. You have to go back on a private driveway to get to it.
okay. What did the NRCS say? Is he still getting his benefits or?
Well, he's kind of grandfathered in on the one he's in, but if he goes to renew, that's when it changes.
Okay, okay.
So.
And we don't know
Yeah,
when
you-
that might
Yearly
be.
payments right now, he can skirt it, but
Mhm.
if he goes to renew, then he has to bring it up to farmable.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll get a letter together.
All righty.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your support.
Sounds good. You guys have a good day.
You too. Open forum.
This is for Bill to sign. This is just a little something interesting that I wanted to show you. It is a funding rate per cents per thousand per capita of how counties fund their libraries. And it shows that Winnebago County is on the high end of how we fund our libraries.
$0.27 per thousand. All the libraries send in requests every year, or do they?
I think there's 99 counties and there are 99 different ways that it's done. They have library boards that meet, there are kind of the way we do it, there's, I think there's a whole different plethora of ways.
One reason our per capita or per thousand might be a little higher is because we're also a relatively small county.
So we're not the highest, but we're not the least.
There are a lot of them that are a lot less than us.
You get into the Dubuque and Johnson County, they're much higher. Story County's not higher.
What's Worth? I just look at Worth.
They were up there also.
Worth is 23. They're right up there with
We
us.
were 26.
26.56. They are 23.6 or 23.69.
The minimum must be about 8.28 or something, or 8.8, 0.08. Point 0.075.
Be interested to see what percentage our yearly is of our the rural or the valuations. That's just rural valuation. How come it's just rural valuation?
Because that's where we're required to give the money out of.
That libraries comes out of it, is that right? I just assumed that would be a general
Because the people in town paid out of their city budgets.
Yeah, I suppose. But each city gives some to their libraries.
Mm-hmm.
And where does all the rest of their money come from? Is it federal libraries?
The grants is about the only thing they can apply
Grants
for.
in cities and
That's really it? They
Be
don't
curious
get,
to see locally
who pays their salaries?
what the cities are levying.
Cities.
We had some money available through P4C for library programs that I made sure the libraries knew about to get, try to get them qualified for it. I think they all did.
most of the time they get, grants when they do capital projects.
There's monies available from early childhood and stuff like that that they can apply for and get.
Some of these counties, their rural valuations are much, much higher than ours. Are they that much bigger counties like Warren and Webster and Woodbury? Can't believe they're, or what do they have out in their rural that we don't have? Some of our, because we're only 432 and Woodbury is almost 900,000 higher than us in rural valuation.
That'd be near Sioux City.
Yeah, so they count all the factories out in rural Berry County or.
So you look at O'Brien, it's probably, the size of Hancock physically, and they're a million.
Yeah.
But they also have the highest sales for farmland. They're always setting records out there.
Yeah, it's pushing 30,000 an acre or
It's
something.
also one of those that is in line for all those turbines too.
I suppose that would increase valuations to get a bunch of rural turbines too, which we have.
So our turbines that go through the rural then? Turbine valuations in rural?
Industrial. I suppose they're
If they're in the rural,
rural,
so
yeah.
you would technically think it would be. Polk County's rural is, it's 2.5 million.
Trying to think what counties have banned turbines altogether and where their valuations are. Is it Madison?
Yeah, Madison, I don't think that they do.
They still have a pretty high valuation.
Yeah. Well, that must be from a lot of, like warehouse factories are built out in the country anymore around a lot of those locations.
Hancock is just, what, 1/3 bigger than us, so.
Yeah.
Hancock probably has the same number of, similar number of libraries, so, but higher valuation, so that's why their number's a little lower.
If you take Polk County, I would assume that their per capita is much lower than ours. Where is that here? County.
Bigger.
Looking straight down here. 23. Yeah, theirs is about half of what ours is because they just have so many more people than we do. And have bigger and more libraries probably too also. Got a lot of. Well, it's interesting information.
Can you just forward that by email? Or
I can
Scan
scan it, yeah.
then I can reference it.
It's interesting.
Okay, was there anything else? Then we are adjourned.
Did you need one of those minutes signed?
It went through, didn't it?
No, that was the old one.
Oh, was.
He wasn't here last week, so I'd have to sign the ones from last
I
week.
don't think she's got that.
No, that's this one. The one she handed out,
She handed us each one. So yeah, that would have been,
just, well,
you just need yours signed first.
No, she'll get it. It's gotta have holes in it for you to sign it, so
Oh.
just, it'll probably be next week.
Yeah, 'cause 'cause I just signed the ones the meeting that I was at.
Well, this is the one for last week with the signature.
Yeah, but it's not with the, it doesn't, it's not on the right
official
paper.
one.